It was a dark and stormy night. Not really. It's just that I wanted to start the story that way. I'm Joe Friday. No relation to Jack Webb from the old Dragnet series, though I am a detective. I got home one evening and my wife Megan told me that we had received an invitation to my college reunion. They were going to have a Halloween-themed party, and everyone would be in costume. I wasn't very excited to hear that. Megan dated very few of my college friends. It wasn't a part of my life I wanted to share with her. We met shortly after I graduated college and entered the police academy. She worked at a local grocery store as a cashier, and what struck me was that she was quite naive and seemed so innocent. She was so different from the college girls I had dated. I started walking up to her cash register every time I went into the store. She was so cute, and I loved teasing her. I would make up stories about finding dead bodies, and she would believe everything I told her. Then I'd tell her the truth, and she'd laugh and hit me. I asked her out, and she agreed to go out with me. She told me that she would feel safe with a police officer. After a year of dating, I asked her to marry me. Before she said yes, she asked if I was kidding, because if I was, it wasn't funny. "I'm not kidding, Megan. I love you, and I want to spend the rest of my life waking up next to you." She agreed, and we've been happily married ever since. We now have 2 children, Amy, who is 4, and Joe Jr., who is 2. We call him Joey. I have to talk a little bit about my high school and college years. In high school, I was an athlete, and a very good one at that. There wasn't a sport that I couldn't play. I ended up getting a scholarship to play rugby at one of the Ivy League schools. Without the scholarship, I never would have been able to afford to go there. As a young man, I was a very lustful bastard. I was willing to fuck any girl or woman if she was ready. My moral compass was definitely not the best. My rugby mates were almost as bad as I was. One in particular, Dean, was even worse. Most of my teammates were rich. They all had nice cars and wads of money, which they often used to get out of trouble. I, on the other hand, was considered the quiet one. Because I was one of the best players on the team, the rich players became friends with me. Lack of money wasn't a problem because Dean always offered to pay for me. He used to say that my shyness attracted girls. There are 2 forms of rugby. In rugby union, no more than 15 players can play at a time, while rugby league has 13. We were part of rugby league and were a close-knit group of guys. As I said, most of them were horny bastards like me. We had a lot of girlfriends, women who followed us everywhere. The funny thing was that they were very good-looking women who just wanted to have fun during college. When we threw parties, dozens of women would show up. To be honest, I would have to say that I had sex with dozens of beautiful women. Some of my rugby buddies ended up marrying some of our wilder followers, knowing that they had been screwed by many of us. I had sex with these people in 2s, 3s, and foursomes. Dean, our captain and self-appointed leader, married Anna, who was a beautiful woman. She had modeled part-time during college and liked to show off her body. By the time I graduated from college, there was no longer a need for me to share women. Most of my rugby teammates had graduated and gone into different professions. Many went into the family business. As for me, I enrolled in the police academy and did my best to put my reckless past behind me. Every now and then I ran into some of my old friends. It was a little hard to look at some of their wives knowing that I had sex with them. I believe many of them have put their past behind them as well. When I talked to a few of the wives, they told me that they went to college to have a good time and find a rich husband. I think they accomplished their goal. A few times while I was with Megan, I ran into a couple and the guys would banter with her, saying I was a shy guy that the ladies loved. I don't think she really got the point, thinking they were all joking around the same way I was. I know a couple guys said they wished she had joined our parties when she was a student. I know Megan felt honored. The last thing I would do is share Megan. She was the best thing that ever happened to me. Megan is a real sweetheart. She looks great and is friendly with everyone. She is short, 5 feet tall and somewhere around 110 pounds. She looks much younger than her 30 years. She's a natural blue-eyed blonde who always seems genuinely happy and rarely argues. She is also a great mother and just a happy person. We have a great marriage and 2 wonderful children. We are constantly involved in family activities. Being a police officer, I know how bad things are in the world, and I will do anything to protect my family. Megan's mother looks after the kids while Megan works part-time. I wish I had gotten an invitation to the party. I would have ripped it up and thrown it away. These were not the friends I wanted around my wife. I hoped there were more of them. Since we didn't go out much as a couple, Megan really wanted to get to this Halloween party. Dean and Anna organized the party at an old funeral home. They hired a DJ who played music from our times and organized the food. It was mostly finger food, but every kind of finger food you could think of was decorated in a Halloween theme. Drinks could be brought in as there was no bar. Dean asked for a meeting with the 6 couples to explain and offer more ideas for the party. He talked about the venue, the costumes, and the party itself. I couldn't make it to the meeting, but Megan went to it without me. I wasn't thrilled about it, but she said it was nice to meet some of my old friends. The party was a month away, and Megan was all excited. She started talking to Anna on the phone about costumes and other things. I hated talking to people from the days when I was preoccupied, but what could I do without telling her about my past? I could only hope that Anna wouldn't say anything. After that party, we never had to see those people again. Megan came home one day and said her car had broken down again. It had been uncharacteristically unreliable for the past few months. She said she was tired of constantly having it repaired and wanted a different car. I explained to her that we didn't have the money for a decent down payment to buy another car. She told me that Anna has a friend who owns a used car dealership, and he had a used Nissan for sale. She had already looked at it and decided it would be perfect for her. "Megan, we don't have the money for another car right now. We can fix up the old one and maybe buy one when I get my bonus at the end of the year." "Joe, all I need is a $600 down payment along with my old car, and I can pay $200 a month for 3 years. "That's not the point. We don't have $600 right now. The holidays are coming up and money is tight. Like I said, maybe after the first of the year when I get my bonus. I'm sorry, honey, but we just don't have a down payment." "If I have a down payment, can I get the car? This is really the car I'm looking for." I realized she was pissed off and wasn't going to stop talking about this car. She really wanted this car, so I said, "Sure, if you can get a down payment and you have to make the payments out of your paycheck since mine is used to pay the rest of the bills." Honestly, I thought she would forget about the car for a while. She was pretty balanced when it came to expenses. She kissed me and thanked me half a dozen times. A few days later, she had a new car, at least new to her. She was a happy woman. I wondered where she had gotten the down payment. She said she had asked for an advance at work and her boss had given it to her, and I had no reason not to believe her. I was starting to get a little worried that Megan had fallen under Anna's influence. She said they talked on the phone about the party every few days. I didn't want Megan to get close to Dean or Anna. I really didn't trust them. One night, Megan wanted to discuss our costumes for the party. I loved her very much, and if she wanted something, I did my best to please her. She said that Anna had lent her a nurse's outfit for the party, that it was a little short and quite tight, but she decided to wear it with a pair of white shorts. She tried it on me, and I have to say she looked pretty damn sexy. She bent over slightly, and I could see her firm ass. I told her she'd better wear shorts under it or find another outfit. I'm really lucky to have such a sexy and sweet wife. She asked me what I was going to wear to the party, and I said I wasn't sure. I was actually thinking of going in my police uniform. I haven't worn it much since I became a detective. She didn't really like the idea, but it would be a simple costume. I told her that I had work scheduled the day of the party and could stay a little late. The day before the party, I saw Anna at the market. I went in to buy some drinks for the party before I went home, and she looked as sexy as ever. She asked me if I liked Megan's car, and I said it was nice. She said she asked Dean to give her $600 for a down payment, and he happily agreed. I tried not to give away my surprise, but I knew I would have to ask Megan why she borrowed the money, and then lied to me about where she got it. Anna asked me if we could get together again. She said she knew Dean wouldn't mind since he had his eye on Megan. They became swingers even after they got married. "No, that's not going to happen. I admit you were the best I dated in college, but I'm married to Megan now, love her very much, and will be faithful to her." Anna held out her hand, smiled at me, and told me that this was my defeat, and she would see me at the party. It bothered me that Megan had gotten the money from Dean. It sounded like it was a gift, not a loan, and I knew he didn't give women money without some sort of benefit. For the first time since we'd been married, I worried if my wife was cheating on me. I decided I had to talk to her when I got home, even if I had to tell her the truth about Dina and Anna. By the time I got home, it was getting dark. Megan had left me a note saying that her mother had the kids and she had gone to show Anna her costume. I didn't think it was true because I had just talked to Anna and she had never mentioned seeing Megan. I remembered that Anna had told me that Dean was at the funeral home to finish getting ready for the party. I headed toward the funeral home and noticed Megan's car in the parking lot. My worst fears were coming true. Megan was alone with Dean. I wasn't sure if I should rush over there or wait and see what was going on. I walked through the back entrance to the main room where the party was to be held. Just before I entered the room, I saw Megan in her nurse's outfit, but she didn't see me. I waited, eager to see what would happen between Megan and Dean. "Where's Anna? I was going to show her my costume," Megan asked. "She's not here, it's just me and you, honey. I asked Anna to get you." He laughed caustically. "I need a favor for the money I gave you. Damn, you look sexy in that tight outfit. Come here and let me feel you up." "No, you said if I slept with you once, that's all you'd ask of me." "I've changed my mind. Besides, Joe has had Anna many times, and you'll only have to give yourself to him once. Now get your tight little ass to her, or I'll tell Joe how you cheated for $600. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. My sweet little wife had done this for Dean, all for the car. I watched her as she approached him. "Promise this will be the last time I have to have sex with you? If you tell Joe, I promise I'll kill you if he doesn't." Dean laughed. "Sure, I promise." I froze. My sweet little wife was going to let Dean sleep with her. Now I was left wondering if this was the only time. I was literally dumbfounded. My mind was racing. Would I really run in there and beat the crap out of Dean? What am I going to do about Megan? She wasn't innocent either. I decided to leave it alone and deal with it later. "Promise me this will be the last time. I love Joe and he would kill us both if he found out I had sex with you. I wish Anna and her friends had never told me about sleeping with Joe. I had to ask him if it was true. I guess he never told you what a girl hunter he is. By the way, I'll decide for myself if you and I are going to have sex again or not. Please, I'll give you your money back. I won't do it with you again. I don't know how I can face Joe after this." "I don't want the damn money, honey," he said, pulling her to him and kissing her roughly. She pushed him away and he laughed. I knew she liked sex, but I didn't like seeing her with another man. I watched her walk out the front door and into the room. When he saw me, he was already pulling up his pants. "You'll never touch her again, Dean. You crossed the line with her. She's not only my wife, she's my life." He looked at me in surprise. "What the hell are you doing here? Look, you've slept with my wife dozens of times, and I got in over my head once. What the hell is the big deal? You gave me your wife of your own free will, and you weren't married at the time. I can't let you get away with that. She was consenting, and you know it. You should have given her the money for the car." He laughed again. "You'll never touch her again," I shouted at him. I picked up a sickle from one of his Halloween displays and stabbed it into his belly with a swing. Then I punched him hard in the face, knocking him to the ground. He wasn't laughing now. I opened the coffin that stood against the wall and put his body in it. I turned him over on his back, and when he said, "No, please don't do this, I'm sorry," I slit his throat so he would bleed out while in the coffin. Now it was up to me to clean it up. First, I wiped my fingerprints off the sickle. I closed the coffin and put a note written in blood. "Don't open it until midnight, or you will suffer the same fate." I looked around. Everything was ready for the party. Anna was usually in charge, but she'd probably wonder where Dean was. I had to figure something out. Looking around, I found the VCR, which was still working. He'd made a video while he was having fun with my wife, and he had another disc, dated a week earlier and titled Megan. I got curious. I took the two tapes and put the blank disc back into the machine. I took his suit as well. It was a soccer jersey with face shields and a helmet. The helmet had a full head mask with a picture of a dog on it and even a small speaker that changed the user's voice. I could use this to my advantage. I locked the doors and put my stuff in the car. I called Megan and told her I was on my way home. She said she had stopped by her mom's house and she and the kids were on their way up to the house. She sounded calmer than I expected. When I got home a half hour later, she had put the kids to bed and got rid of the note that said she was with Anna. She was getting out of the shower when I walked in. "How was your day?" I asked her. "Pretty normal. I did a little shopping after work and stopped by my mom's for a bit. Nothing out of the ordinary." She had her chance to tell me the truth. If she'd told me everything without too many questions, we could have worked things out. Now I knew I could never trust her again. "Megan, I have to work tomorrow, so I'll be at the party a little later if you don't want to go without me." "I promised your friends we'd be there. How late are you planning on coming?" "Probably a couple hours. Do you want me to pick you up here or meet you at the party?" She thought for a minute and said she would meet me at the party. I told her I'd wear a police uniform and a Joe Friday mask from the Dragnet series. She had no idea who I was talking about. She said she was tired and would see me the next day and went to bed. Honestly, I couldn't sleep with her that night. I decided to sleep in the room that served as my office. I turned on the first video of her thanking Dean for the money. He told her it was time to earn it and get on her knees. She knew what he wanted. She looked a little shocked, but she complied. I inserted the second tape and it started just before I arrived. She asked about Anna and he said she would be right there. So she did go to Anna's house. He showed her the party room and put his hand on her ass. "Please don't do this," she begged. "I can't be with you again. I'm happily married to Joe." She pulled away. "Where's Anna? I was going to show her my costume," Megan asked. "She's not here. It's just me and you, honey. I'm the one who asked Anna to call you." He laughed caustically. "I need a favor for the money I gave you." "Damn, you look sexy in that tight outfit. Come here." That's where I stepped in. I fast-forwarded the tape and erased anything that would incriminate me. For now, I hid the tapes, wondering if and when I would be able to use them. I didn't work late and was at the party when it started at 8. I was wearing Dean's outfit and I was a little worried that people would realize I wasn't him. Anna said it was time for me to come and came over to greet her friends. Anna was dressed like a prostitute and showed it off in all its glory. About half of the guests were wearing masks and I didn't know who they were. Others just had little masks over their eyes or painted faces. I saw Megan pull up to the house and the valet opened her door. She got out of the car, showing off her long legs. I wondered if she had put on shorts. She remembered to bring us drinks. She pulled a small white mask over her eyes. Only a few people would know who she was since she didn't attend our college. After looking me over, she approached Anna and they talked for a few minutes. Anna introduced her to a few women and guys and went about her hostess duties. I walked up behind her, slipped my hand under her outfit and grabbed her. "Stop it. I said no more. I love my husband." She was wearing shorts under her nurse's outfit. "Speaking of the cuckold, where is he?" I asked, hoping my real voice wouldn't break through. This was going to be a real challenge. "He's at work, but he'll be here soon. Please don't get me into trouble. What I did was a huge mistake. I shouldn't have done it. It wasn't worth the price I'm paying now. Tell you what, dance with me and tell me about your past and I'll keep our sex a secret. Otherwise, the first person to talk to Joe when he gets here will be me." She hesitated, but walked with me to the dance floor. I pulled her against me and started asking her about her past. She started to talk about her high school days, but I stopped her. "I'm interested in your sexual past, how many men you've slept with." "Please, Joe doesn't even know about it. Who cares?" "I want to know how many men have been with you. Now tell me." Okay. I had 2 boyfriends before I met Joe. I was young and wanted to try. Neither of them did anything special for me. I was with them probably a few times with each. Then I met Joe. He was different. It wasn't just sex. It was more than that. He treated me with respect and at the same time made me feel special. There was nothing he wouldn't do for me sexually or for him. Don't you understand that? Being with you was a mistake. I was attached to the moment and to learning about Joe's past. I was angry and worried that he never told me. I'm so sorry. She pulled away from me and went to the ladies' room. A woman approached me and asked if I was Dean. She reached down and grabbed my groin and told me I felt like Dean. I was sure it was Maureen who was married to Ted. I told her she would find out at midnight. The party was going very well, and the drinks were pouring in rivers. I stayed as far away from Anna as possible. Only she and Megan knew what Dean's costume was. Shortly before 10, I slipped out the back door and walked across the lot to my car. I changed into my police uniform and pulled up to the front door. The door was opened for me by the valet. He relaxed as I put on my Joe Friday mask. Anna met me at the door and gave me a hug. Megan must have told her I'd be dressed as a cop. She grabbed my ass and said, "Still the best ass I've ever felt." I saw Megan, and she must have seen Anna grab my ass. "What was that?" She acted like she was angry, but after everything she'd done, her heart wasn't in the right place. "There's a lot I haven't told you about my past. I've been with a lot of these women, including Anna. That's why I didn't want to come to this party." "Why didn't you tell me about your past before?" Megan asked. "It wasn't something I was proud of, and you were very special to me. I didn't want you to think you were just one of many. Besides, you never told me about yours. I know you weren't a virgin the first time we were together when we were in our early 20s. I didn't know whether to hate her or love her. We danced, and eventually I took off the stupid mask. Almost everyone knew who I was anyway. I introduced Megan to everyone I knew. She told me that Anna had introduced her to many of them. When I introduced her to a woman, she would look at me as if asking if I had sex with her. Almost every time I nodded my head yes. A few times I shook my head no. After the third time, Megan asked me why not. I laughed. "I haven't known them since high school. I met them after they married my friends." "Megan, I've had sex with many women, but none after we started dating. I would never cheat on you," she said, needing to go to the ladies' room. She was probably feeling guilty. Anna came up to me and asked if I had seen Dean. She said he was wearing a soccer suit with a dog's head on it. I laughed because it sounded so funny. I told her I hadn't seen him, but he was probably sleeping with some woman in the back room. Anna seemed to be looking around for Megan. I wondered if she was part of a setup for Dean to screw Megan. Megan walked back to where I was standing, and Anna asked her if she had seen Dean. "Was he wearing a dog suit?" Megan asked. "Maybe an hour ago, but I've been with John since he got here." As befits a Halloween party, there was plenty of food and great costumes ranging from very scary to extremely sexy. The DJ was playing great tunes, and everyone seemed to be having a good time. I was wondering what would happen at midnight when the casket was opened. I noticed that some of the players had old habits returning to them. Every now and then, a couple would go to one of the back rooms. Anna went back there more than once. It was strange to me, but Megan never left my side. She only danced with me, but she said she was having a great time. She barely spoke to Anna. I think she felt she'd made a huge mistake and was trying to fix it. She didn't even mention Dean. Everyone asked Anna what the surprise was and why the casket had to be opened at midnight. She replied that she didn't know. Dean must have added that at the last minute. At midnight, those who still had their masks on did so. There were no particular surprises except that Dean wasn't there. Anna said we could open the coffin. She wasn't going to wait for Dean. Tim and Brad opened the casket together. Everyone who could see what was inside started screaming. Some thought it was a joke until they saw it was a human body and all the blood seemed real. I told everyone to back off, that I was really a police officer. I dialed 911 and told them who I was. Not 5 minutes later, we saw 6 police cars out front. A fellow police officer, Jim, came up to me and asked what happened. I told what little I knew after we opened the casket. Jim said he'd like to help, but since I was at the party when the body was found, I'd have to be questioned along with everyone else. I told him I understood. For the next 2 hours, everyone was questioned and then released. Jim told me that almost everyone had a similar story. They thought Dean was wearing soccer gear, but they couldn't say for sure. He told me that my wife, Megan, said she thought he was wearing a soccer jersey, too. I replied that I didn't remember seeing him. Megan was very nervous and asked me how I could handle this kind of thing day in and day out, especially since it was my friend. I explained to her that this is my job and after a while you get used to it. The body was sent to the coroner's office where an autopsy was performed. The cause of death was loss of blood when his throat was cut. The knife in his intimate parts was afterward. According to police, it was an act of revenge and rage. They didn't know how right they were. They searched Dean and Anna's house and found several tapes made over the past few years. Most of them showed Anna or Dean having sex with different people. They decided that they would have to contact the people who were on those tapes and question them. They started with the ones who were at the party. Anna told the police that she and Dean had an open marriage. Those participants whose spouses were unaware of their mate's extracurricular activities were looked at the most, as was Anna, since the spouse is always the first suspect. 2 weeks later, my friend Jim, who was heading the investigation, came to me and said he needed to bring my wife in for another interview. I asked him why, and he said that Anna told him that Megan had given him money, $600 to be exact, to use as a down payment on the car. Anna also told him that he expected to be compensated in the form of sex. She didn't know for sure if he had succeeded. Jim, Megan told me that she borrowed the money from Dean at Anna's request. That pissed me off, because I knew what kind of man Dean was. I asked Anna to tell him that we would pay him back soon. I actually took a check to the party to pay him back. I handed Jim the check and told him I didn't see Dean at the party to give him the check. I told him he could give it to Anna. He said he still had to follow up with Anna's accusations, and I replied that I understood him. As soon as I left his office, I called Megan and told her that I knew she had borrowed the money from Dean and told her everything I had told Jim. 20 minutes later, Jim and another detective, Aaron, showed up at Megan's office. And she told me later that she was surprised to see them and didn't tell me that I had called her. She told them that Anna had suggested she borrow money from Dean. She went to see him and he flirted with her, but she told him she was happily married to me. According to her, when she told me she got the money from Dean, I was not happy about it. She told them that I was going to pay him back from our small savings. I actually had a check to give him at the party. They asked her if he was hitting on her, and she said he was quite openly flirting with her, and she told him she wasn't going to cheat on her husband. He could have kept his money, but he did lend it to her in the end. I asked Megan if everything she had told the police was true. I wondered if she would admit anything to me. She hesitated and apologized for lying about the loan. She said Dean said it was a gift and maybe they could hook up sometime. According to her, she told him there was no way she would cheat on me. She tried to change the subject and asked again why I never told her about my past lovers. She was surprised when Anna told her how horny I had been when I was younger. That was my past. I didn't tell you because I didn't really want you to know. But you should know one thing. I never lied to you about my past, and I never cheated on you. Can you say the same? What does that mean? I love you more than anyone. You are my life. I would never cheat on you. She got up and started dinner. I felt really bad that she was lying to me. It was probably worse than cheating. I didn't know if I would ever be able to trust her again. For now, I needed things to stay as normal as possible. If there were problems in our marriage, we'd be scrutinized more closely for Dean's murder. For the next month, we had sex, but it was sex, not love. She never once said a negative word to me. Jim told me that all those leads went nowhere. There were a dozen spouses who had reasons to get back at Dean, but the evidence just wasn't there. I asked him about the time of death, and he said it happened the night before. It could have been either at 9 or 3 in the morning. All of the suspects had alibis, and in most cases, it was their spouses. People like that always support each other. They will continue to investigate, but will have to wait for a break. He said Anna was their #1 suspect, but they didn't think she could have done it alone. They didn't believe she had the strength to lift the body and put it in the coffin. Besides, she didn't grieve his loss too much. She would inherit a lot of money, and their marriage had become a farce. They both had sexual partners all the time. Jim told me that Anna claimed to have had sex with me numerous times. I explained that I hadn't been with her in years. Obviously, Anna and I did not have recent records. It had been years, although she had approached me recently. I forgot to mention that I had thrown Dean's suit into the river the night after the party. The only thing that connected Megan and I to the case were the tapes I'd hidden. Life went on, but it wasn't the same for me anymore. I actually spent more time playing with the kids. I even took them out without Megan when she had to work. I didn't think about her cheating, focusing on the business I was doing. I went deep into my work and even told Megan about the cheating wives I found mutilated. I told her how one husband slit his wife's throat. I had never told her such vile stories before, but I wanted her to know what happens to people who cheat on their spouses. Every time I told her one of these stories, I could see the pain in her eyes. It was 6 months after Dean's death, and things seemed to be back to normal. Megan told me that Anna had called her and that she had told Anna that she wanted nothing to do with her. She was happily married and she was trying to involve her in her husband's death. I kept a close eye on Megan's whereabouts when she visited relatives and mostly went out with just me and the kids. She had lost some of the innocent happiness I always remembered. That's when I decided to try something different. I sent a tape of Megan to our house. On the outside, I printed, "For Joe's eyes only." Megan always brought the mail. When I got home that evening, Megan looked a little out of sorts. "What's the matter, Megan?" I asked. "No, just a bad day at work and the kids are getting on my nerves. I haven't even made dinner yet." "That's okay. I'll order a pizza and take the kids with me to pick it up." We picked up the pizza, and I looked through the mail Megan had prepared for me. There wasn't an envelope addressed just to me. I read the mail and watched a little TV while Megan and the kids went to bed. I looked everywhere for the envelope and scotch tape. Eventually, I looked outside in our trash can. There I found the charred remains of the disc and envelope. No one could figure out what it was. Megan was still awake when I got into bed and turned to face me. "Joe, I love you with all my heart and soul. I know things have changed since your friend died, but I want things to be the way they were before. I know you told me you've had many other women, but I'll get over it. Right now, I need you to make love to me." I couldn't help myself. I still loved this woman. I made tender love to her, damn it. Why did I love her so much? Did she really keep her transgressions to herself? Was she afraid that I would divorce her if I found out about her affair with Dean? It seemed like our relationship was getting better. 9 months later, Dean's murder was still unsolved. We stopped talking to my old college friends. I knew it was a mistake to include them in my life. One day, after Megan and I made love, I asked her who else she had been with. I mentioned that she had learned about me from my former classmates. She hesitated and replied, "Who cares? I only love you, and I only want to be with you." "Joe, I had only had 2 men before I met you. They were boyfriends, and after meeting you, I realized they weren't good lovers. They meant nothing to me, and I want you to know that." I remember her saying the same thing when she thought she was talking to Dean at the party. "Was there someone else there?" I asked. She looked at me but didn't answer. She cried and went to the bathroom. After taking a shower, she came into the bedroom and lay on her side, hoping I was asleep, but I wasn't. I could hear her crying silently. I wanted to hug her, but my ego was too big. The next morning, I went to my room and pulled out the video of her and Dean together. I put it back in the envelope and wrote, "For Joe's eyes only." I took it to the post office knowing she would get it the same day and went to work. I called and told her I would be home late and asked her to give the kids a kiss before I put them to bed. The last thing she said was, "I love you, Joe." When I got home, Megan was sitting in the living room watching TV. She was crying, and when I looked at the screen, I saw that she was watching a tape. "You knew all along, didn't you? You sent me the first tape too. I can feel it in my gut. I wanted so badly to come to you and tell you the truth, but I was afraid you'd leave me and I can't live without you, Joe. Why did you do that? Then you came back a second time and let him fuck you." She didn't even ask me how I got the tapes. "At first I was mad at you for not letting me take the car. Now I realize how childish I was being. I dated your ex-girlfriends and they all told me how you slept with them. They described your lovemaking down to the last detail. I was so angry and embarrassed to find out what you did with them. Some of the things you never even did with me. I went to Dean and took his money. I let him treat me like a whore to get even with you. I wasn't thinking straight, Joe. After I left, I regretted it, but there was nothing I could do about it." "Why did you come back for more?" "I didn't come back. I got a call from Anna asking me to come and see the set. The message even told me to wear my costume. She set me up with Joe. I left you a note, but I threw it away when I got home." I knew she was telling the truth about the note. I'd never told her I'd seen it. "I got there and Dean said he'd take me just like you did Anna. All I wanted was to get it over with. I asked him to please not tell you. It would ruin my marriage and my life. I let him take advantage of me and told him that if he told you, I would kill him. But I didn't kill him, Joe. I didn't. I even offered to give him his money back. I just wanted to leave. I don't know where or how you got those tapes, but I didn't even know they existed. All I can say is that I'm sorry." She continued to cry. "You should have told me the truth about where you got the money from. He told me years ago that when I got married he was going to sleep with my wife. I told him that would never happen. Guess I was wrong. Joe, where did you get the tapes from? The last one was made the night before the party. My friend Jim asked me to look around the neighborhood for anything suspicious while he and his colleagues questioned the people at the party. I found the tapes and put them in my pocket. The first one had your name on it, so I took both. When I watched them, my heart burst. I love you like I've never loved anyone, and what you did to Dean tore me apart. I don't know if I'll ever get over it. Why didn't you give the tapes to Jim? Can't you get in trouble for withholding evidence? The last thing I want is for anyone to know about it, much less see it. Besides, that would make you look even more suspicious, and I know you can't kill anyone. Joe, you're going to divorce me when this case is over. I can't blame you, but I want you to know that I'm sorry about this, and I really do love you. Right now, I don't know what I'm going to do. The problem is that I still love you, but I don't know if I'll ever be able to trust you again. When this case is over, I'll think about what I should do. 3 years passed, and eventually the murder was filed away as a cold case. Now they have progressed no further than a week after the murder. We're not in touch with any of my old college friends. Anna has joined some kind of swing club and is rich enough to no longer work, but she remains the police's prime suspect. Not a day goes by that Megan doesn't tell me she loves me. We haven't talked about divorce since the last time we spoke. After she watched the video, she went outside and burned it. If she hadn't apologized so many times, or if I hadn't loved her so much, I know we would have divorced and become another statistic. I can't say that sometimes I don't think about what she did. But then, I snuggle up to her. She never refuses to have sex or make love to me. Strangely, she's never asked me if I killed Dean. Honestly, I don't know if I would have told her the truth.